Hello, everyone, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Have you ever wondered how simple cassava roots harvested from farms are transformed into smooth, ready to cook noodles inside a modern factory? Millions of people enjoy noodles every day, but very few have ever seen the fascinating industrial journey behind them. In this video, we will step inside a modern noodle factory and follow the complete process, from muddy cassava roots arriving at the facility to perfectly shaped noodle strands ready for your kitchen. And by the end of this video, I'll also share some useful tips about how these noodles are prepared and enjoyed in everyday meals. Before we continue, let me know in the comments, which country are you watching from and what time is it there right now? The journey of cassava noodles begins inside a vast, modern food processing factory, where advanced machinery works in perfect coordination to transform raw agricultural crops into a finished product enjoyed around the world. From the moment production starts, conveyor belts begin moving, motors come alive, and the entire facility slowly turns into a carefully synchronized system of motion and precision. Inside these bright industrial halls, every machine has a specific role in the process. Stainless steel equipment ensures hygiene and durability, while automated control systems monitor temperature, pressure, and production speed in real time. What I personally find fascinating about this stage is the scale of the operation. A single factory like this can process thousands of kilograms of cassava every hour, converting humble roots into an everyday food staple. But before noodles can be formed, everything begins with the raw ingredient itself, freshly harvested cassava roots arriving from the farms. The process truly begins on cassava farms, where this hardy root crop grows beneath the soil for several months before harvest. Farmers carefully dig up the mature cassava roots and prepare them for transport to nearby processing facilities. Once harvested, the roots are loaded onto trucks and delivered to the factory in large quantities. At first glance, these cassava roots may appear rough and muddy, still covered with soil from the fields, but hidden inside each root is a valuable ingredient: starch. Cassava is one of the richest natural sources of starch in the world, making it ideal for producing noodles with a unique texture and elasticity. In my opinion, this stage highlights an important connection between agriculture and industry. What begins as a simple crop in rural farmland soon becomes the foundation of a complex manufacturing process. And once the cassava reaches the factory, the next step begins immediately, removing the dirt and preparing the roots for processing. Before cassava can be processed into starch, the roots must first be thoroughly cleaned. After arriving at the factory, they are transferred onto large conveyor belts that carry them into powerful industrial washing systems. Inside these machines, rotating drums and high-pressure water jets work together to remove soil, sand, and other impurities from the root surfaces. As the cassava tumbles through the system, layers of dirt are gradually washed away. This cleaning stage is essential because even small particles of soil could affect the purity of the final starch product. What I find particularly interesting here is how efficiently the factory reuses water. Many facilities include filtration systems that recycle water from the washing process, reducing environmental impact while maintaining cleanliness. But what happens in the next stage is where the real transformation begins, turning solid cassava roots into a smooth starch mixture. Once the cassava roots are clean, they move deeper into the factory for the first major transformation. The roots are fed into powerful industrial grinders designed to crush them into a fine pulp. Inside these machines, rotating blades and grinding plates break down the cassava structure, releasing the starch trapped within the plant cells. Water is often added during this stage to help form a smooth slurry that can be pumped through the next stages of processing. The result is a thick white mixture known as cassava slurry, a suspension of starch, fiber, and water. In my opinion, this stage plays a critical role in determining the quality of the final product. The finer and more consistent the grinding process, the easier it becomes to extract pure starch later in the production line. But this mixture still contains fibers and other materials. In the next stage, advanced separation systems will begin isolating the pure cassava starch needed to make noodles. After grinding, the cassava slurry still contains a mixture of starch, fibers, and water. To obtain pure starch for noodle production, the factory uses a series of advanced separation systems designed to isolate the finest starch particles. The slurry first passes through filtration screens and hydrocyclone separators that remove most of the fibrous material. These machines rely on centrifugal force and precise fluid flow to separate heavier starch particles from lighter impurities. Gradually, the mixture becomes smoother and whiter as purified starch is collected into large holding tanks. What I personally find fascinating about this stage is the level of precision involved. Even small adjustments in flow speed or pressure can significantly affect the purity of the starch. Once the starch is refined, it must be dried before entering the noodle production line. Flash dryers use high-temperature air to rapidly remove moisture, transforming the liquid starch into a fine powder. But what happens next may surprise you. This simple white powder will soon become the base for thousands of perfectly shaped noodles. With the purified cassava starch ready, the noodle production process can finally begin. Inside the factory's mixing section, automated systems carefully measure the exact proportions of starch and water needed to create the dough. The ingredients are fed into large industrial mixers equipped with powerful rotating paddles. As the machines begin to turn, the dry starch slowly absorbs moisture and forms a thick, smooth dough. Sensors continuously monitor moisture levels, temperature, and mixing speed to ensure consistent texture. In my opinion, this stage plays a critical role in determining the final quality of the noodles. The balance between water and starch must be precise, otherwise the dough may become too brittle or too soft during extrusion. As the dough reaches the perfect consistency, it is transferred into the next machine, the high-pressure extruder that will transform this dough into long noodle strands. This is the moment where the raw mixture finally begins to resemble noodles. Inside the extrusion machine, the prepared dough is pushed forward by a powerful rotating screw under intense pressure. At the end of the chamber sits a metal die filled with dozens of tiny openings. As the dough is forced through these holes, it emerges as long, thin strands of noodles. The transformation is surprisingly fast. Within seconds, continuous streams of noodles begin flowing out of the machine and onto moving conveyor belts. What I personally find fascinating about this stage is the precision of the shaping process. Every strand must have the same thickness and structure to ensure even cooking later. But the noodles are not ready yet. What's the next step may surprise you. They must pass through steaming and drying systems that give them their final texture. Before the noodles move to packaging, they must first pass through a strict quality control stage. Automated inspection systems carefully analyze the noodles as they travel along conveyor belts. High-resolution cameras scan the shape, color, and thickness of each batch. Sensors also measure moisture levels to ensure the noodles are properly dried. If any irregularities are detected, the system automatically removes those portions from the production line. This level of automation allows factories to maintain consistent quality while producing massive quantities of noodles every day. What I find particularly impressive is how technology and human supervision work together here. Engineers and technicians constantly monitor the process, making sure every product meets strict food safety standards. Once the noodles pass inspection, they are ready for the next stage, packaging and distribution to markets around the world. Once the noodles pass the quality inspection stage, they move directly into the automated packaging section of the factory. Here, speed and precision become the focus of the production line. Conveyor belts carry the finished noodles into portioning machines that carefully measure the correct weight for each package. These machines ensure that every bag contains a consistent amount of noodles. Next, robotic systems guide the measured portions into packaging units where plastic film is automatically formed into bags. The noodles are sealed inside using heat sealing technology that protects the product from air and moisture. What I personally find fascinating about this stage is the incredible speed of the process. Modern packaging machines can fill and seal hundreds of packages every minute. Finally, the sealed packages are grouped into cartons and prepared for transport. But the journey of these noodles is not over yet. The next step may surprise you. These cartons will soon begin traveling across cities, countries, and even continents.
hall operates with remarkable precision, filling and sealing thousands of noodle products every hour.
After packaging, the finished noodle products enter the factory's distribution system. Large warehouses connected to the production facilities store thousands of cartons ready for shipment. Inside these logistics centers, forklifts and automated systems organize the products on pallets and prepare them for delivery. Each shipment is carefully tracked using digital inventory systems that record batch numbers, production dates, and destination markets. In my opinion, this stage demonstrates how modern food manufacturing extends far beyond the factory floor. Efficient logistics are essential to deliver products quickly and safely to consumers. Soon, trucks arrive at the loading docks to collect the packaged noodles. Pallets are carefully loaded into containers and secured for transport. Within hours, these shipments begin traveling along highways and shipping routes, bringing factory-made noodles to supermarkets, restaurants, and homes across the world.
Okay, bring it back slowly to your left, just a bit. Right there, drop it down.
Place this one on the upper rack, bay 4.
Got it, bay 4.
After traveling through distribution networks, the noodles finally arrive where they were always meant to be, in kitchens, restaurants, and dining tables. For many people around the world, noodles are a familiar and comforting part of everyday meals. Their light texture and ability to absorb flavors make them perfect for a wide variety of dishes. In home kitchens, cooks simply boil the noodles for a few minutes until they soften and become flexible. They can then be served in soups, stir-fried with vegetables, or mixed with sauces and spices. What I find especially interesting is how one industrial process can lead to countless culinary possibilities. From simple family meals to restaurant dishes, the same noodles produced in a factory can appear in many different forms depending on the culture and recipe. But before enjoying them, it helps to understand the best way to prepare these noodles properly. And that brings us to the final step of this journey.
This is absolutely delicious, Priya.
Your mother outdid herself tonight.
Here, you really need to try this one.
Thank you, it looks delicious.
Honestly, this is the best ramen I've had.
Table 5, ready for pickup. Coming through. Wow, look at all this food.
I can't decide between the ramen and the pad thai.
Preparing cassava noodles is simple, but a few small tips can help achieve the best texture and flavor. First, bring a pot of water to a gentle boil. Once the water is ready, place the dried noodles into the pot and allow them to cook for several minutes. Stir occasionally to prevent the strands from sticking together. When the noodles become soft and slightly translucent, they are ready to be removed from the water. Draining them thoroughly helps maintain their texture before adding them to a dish. These noodles can then be combined with soups, stir-fried with vegetables and meat, or served with flavorful sauces. In my opinion, the versatility of these noodles is what makes them so popular around the world. From farm-grown cassava roots to a delicious meal on the table, the journey of these noodles is a remarkable example of modern food manufacturing. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of this video. If you found this factory journey interesting, please comment 1 below. If you think the video could be better, feel free to comment 0 or share your thoughts. Also tell me in the comments, What production process would you like to see in the next video? Your support truly motivates me to keep creating more factory documentaries like this. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with your friends. See you in the next factory journey.
This is the best spaghetti you've ever made, mi amor.
Oh, stop. You say that every time.
Cheers.
So I told her, that's not my dog. Wait, whose dog was it then? You always have the craziest stories. Pass the chili oil.